All right, welcome to section 7.5 and the first example from this section. What we're going to be doing in this section is solving equations. So we're going to be trying to figure out what values for x make this equation true. So what we're going to be doing is using some of the skills that you've learned in this section to go ahead and get x by itself. And remember, solving for an equation just means isolating x and figuring out what value makes this a true equation. So remember, a lot of the skills you already know. So in this type of problem, you see that you've got x on both sides of the equation and you have x in your variable here. Now, when you just have a single term on both sides of the equal sign, it's really easy and really simple to solve this. What you need to do is just multiply both sides by the denominator of the other side. We call this cross multiplying. So you're going to multiply this equation by 4x plus 5 and multiply this equation by x plus 1. And what that allows you to do is you end up, it cancels out the denominator on the other side. So when you multiply the left-hand side by 4x plus 5, cancels out the denominator here. Multiply the right-hand side by x plus 1, cancels out the denominator there. Now you just have a simple equation with x on both sides. You go ahead and just distribute your coefficients. You end up with 12x plus 15 equals 9x plus 9. Simple algebra from this point on. So you subtract 9x. Now you're going to subtract 15. You get 3x equals negative 6. Divide by 2. And you get x equals negative 2. Now I went through that fairly quickly, but this is just basic math. The key step here is cross multiplying to get x out of the denominator. This works when you have single terms on either side. So if you don't have a single term, you either need to combine like terms to get into a single term, or find another way to make that happen. So now you always want to check this in your original equation to make this work. As with any solving, you always want to make sure you're doing that. So when we plug negative 2 in, we get 3 over negative 1 gives us negative 3. 9 over negative 8 plus 5 is just 9 over negative 3. And we find out that that's true. That's how simple it is to check an answer. You should be doing this on every test or quiz to make sure you're doing this right. Now, let's just do one more example to make sure this works. Let's look at this problem. 2 over x plus 2 equals 10 over 3x plus 2. You should be walking through me step by step on this. Now that you've seen this, this should be your notes that you're taking right now. So since we have a single term on either side, you're just going to cross multiply here. Now you're multiplying by your denominators. So what you're going to do each time is you're just going to take your denominator and you're going to cross multiply. So you're going to take your left-hand side, 3x plus 2. You're going to multiply your left-hand side by 3x plus 2. On your right-hand side, you're going to multiply by x plus 2. So this is what it looks like right here. X plus 2 on the right and 3x plus 2 on the left. Now when you multiply this through and distribute, you're going to get 6x plus 4, and that's going to equal 10x plus 20. 10x plus 20. Now you see when you go ahead and try to solve right here, you're going to subtract 6x from each side. So you're going to get 4x on the right. You subtract 20 from both sides. You're going to get negative 16 on the left. When you divide both sides by 4, you're going to get negative 4 equals x. And that's as simple as it is. So again, you should be taking your notes right here. And if you have any questions, go ahead and rewind, because now I'm going to add in your questions right here. So remember, we have x equals negative 4, and when we check, solution is x equals negative 4. plug it back in, we get 2 over negative 2. So that's 1, 10 over negative 12 plus 2, 10 over negative 10, negative 1. Okay, so I'm trying to go through a little faster for you guys. What I want you to do right now is go through each of these problems you're going to solve. So problems 1, 2, and 3. So what I want you guys to do, I'm only going to put up one question box, but I want you to answer all of these problems. So answer questions 1, 2, and 3. In the question box, you should have 3 parts. So part 1, x equals your answer. Part 2, x equals your answer. And part 3, x equals your answer. Make sure you can go back and rewind, watch the last 2 examples, and you should be able to get this right. Okay, good luck, and I will talk to you on the next video.